Okay, so we run all the scripts that the CodeGen process generated into the database, and now it's time to create a test data file and try it out. So a couple of things about this file to note. First of all, in row 4, there's a date that doesn't look quite right, so we'll see what the infrastructure does with that. And then remember that in the subset process that we ran for the column descriptions, we specified that we only needed the first, second, and fifth and sixth columns from the input data, and we were going to be bypassing the third and fourth columns. So let's give it a try. Okay, so we've uploaded the data file to the appropriate ingest folder, S3, and we can look at it from Snowflake using the stage object that the CodeGen process created, and we can see the file in the correct ingest folder. So that should get ingested and loaded into the staging table immediately. So let's take a look. And yes, it has. So this is the contents of the staging table. And so you can see the file path, the row numbers from the file, all of the data as a JSON variant, and the update date and user that the data was loaded. So the next thing to look at is the stream object, which is updated whenever the table is updated, and that acts as a trigger for the transform task. So here's the stream. Looks very much like the table and just has some additional information indicating the action on the base table. So now let's look at the views. So the first view is the raw view, which is not data typed. And this is a relational view of the JSON. And now the type view, which is data typed, and this is going to be input to the transform processing. So a couple things to look at here. First of all, notice the date that we had in the input, which was invalid, which is a 9/31 date, now been transformed to a null. And we're only pulling in 2 of the data fields. We're bypassing the first 2 data fields, and this was based on our subset configuration. So let's see what happened as far as, oh, one more thing. The error processing. So here's the error view. So error view, again, we had a bad date in the input, and here it is. And so this is showing up as, it's actually a key field, so it has a couple of problems. Number one, there's a conversion error in typecasting, and then that results in a field that's defined as being not null as actually containing a null. So, we see all that information in here. So let's look at the transform processing, which, because we had data in the stream, should have run. So the table should have data in it. Let's see. And it doesn't. So what happened? So when a task is created in Snowflake, the default state is that it's suspended, and you have to actually resume it to start it, and that's an action you have to take explicitly. So in the CodeGen procs, there's a line that does that for you, but I didn't run it. It's at the end of the transform proc. And so if we look at the state of this task, we can see what it looks like currently. So you can see this is the transform task. It's calling when it runs the SP transform entity procedure and passing it the entity name, and this will run the transform processing, but that's only going to happen when the stream has data, which it does, but the state is currently suspended, so the task is currently not running. So this is the line that usually would get run, but typically after you've done a little bit of testing on this to activate the task. And this is, again, this is included in the code gen, but I didn't run it because I do want to, I did want to do some testing, which we're going to do right now. So I'm going to resume it. And now if we look at this again, it's now started. So let's run a view that shows whether the task is running. See if we can capture it while it's running. This task will run every minute, so it might take a few seconds for it to actually start. And hopefully we can catch it while it's running. Let's see. There we go. So it's executing. And you can see this is all the task information and showing when it started. And that's good. And we should now be able to see data in the transform table. And here it is. So we can see that 5 of the 6 input rows made into the transform table. And the only one that didn't was the one with the bad date in the key field. So that gets rejected. And there are a couple of other things in here, which I'm going to talk about in a upcoming video, and these are part of the transform processing. We have a fact date, a fact key, and a fingerprint. So I'm not going to talk about those now, but just remember those, and we'll be talking about those a little bit later.